right, so good morning. Thank you so much for coming to Stretch and Rest. My name is Kristen. And if this is your first time taking class, just know that this is a half-seated stretch class where we are actively engaging muscles. And the other portion of class is seated or laying down, supine, restorative shapes. Sometimes you maybe have done these shapes in yoga or some other sort of therapeutic practice, okay? So we're going to use 2 blocks, a pillow. I'm up on a bolster. These are things that are going to work best for me. You might have a totally different combination of products that are going to work best for you. And hopefully it's just some things that you already have in your house, right? You can get creative and just use pillows and blankets. An old comforter could be rolled up and you can use a belt around it to even create kind of a bolster if you need to, right? So books, just try to make them about the same height on each side if you can. And, scarves, belts, things like that, they can all be helpful. Okay, so we're going to begin in a seated position, closing the eyes, sitting up tall, focusing on our breath for a few moments, and just trying to center ourselves to prepare for the rest of class. If you need to lay down to do this instead, totally fine. Okay, so we want to make sure if we're seated, our knees are not up in the air. If your knees are up in the air, if you're rounded into your lower back, sit up on something, and that will shift your hips a little forward. And that's going to allow you to have a little more space in your hip flexors, which will allow your knees to soften. Alternately, you might just need to place something under one knee because maybe there's an imbalance, right? So balance is only relative to what's going on in our bodies, and not too many of us are balanced from muscular perspective, from tension perspective, right? Okay, so once you have the shape that's best for you to begin, close your eyes, roll your shoulders back a few times. And then settle down. Feel like you're drawing your shoulders down, at the same time lifting up your chest. Engage your core. So think of pelvic floor lifting up. And as you lift the pelvic floor, you draw the shoulders down and back, like you're just kind of hugging into your center and lifting up from the front of your torso. So closing your eyes can be difficult. Sometimes we need to focus on the tip of the nose or the space between the eyebrows instead. With an inhale, let your belly expand. Just a sound. Inhale through your nose. Open mouth, exhale, soft, let something go. Nose, exhale, 4. Pause. Inhale, 4. Pause. Exhale, 4. Pause. Slow breath in. Slow breath out. Take a few more moments here to practice breathing this way on your own. It might be helpful to count to yourself, like I was just counting. Maybe that's a 4 count, maybe longer, maybe just slower. With your inhale, lift up your chest. On your exhale, relax your shoulders. If it is a part of your practice, palms together at the center of your chest, taking a moment to create an intention for your practice is always welcome. This could be mantra, prayer. This can just be silence. Deep breath in and slow breath out. Releasing your arms down and opening up your eyes. Slowly find movement in your shoulders, lifting and lowering. And this could mean one shoulder at a time, right? Doesn't have to mean both. And let your shoulders settle down. We'll begin to draw the neck down, keeping the chest lifted up, stretching the back of the neck. Hopefully also the space in between your shoulder blades gets a little stretch. Keep lifting up your chest, avoid leaning forward or rounding forward. And then slowly right ear over to your right shoulder, right ear, right shoulder. Notice if your left shoulder went up, try to bring it down. And if it feels okay to move your neck around, go for it. When you're ready, bring your chin back down. Pause there for a moment, settle the shoulders. And then left ear over to your left shoulder. And your tighter side will inform you of that, right? It's obvious. For me, my right shoulder wants to lift up automatically. So got to draw it down a little bit more awareness there. That's okay. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. And bring your chin back down to your center. Draw in from the core, lifting up from the torso. Your head comes up last. All right, so roll the shoulders up and back, up and back. We just did our neck stretches from side to side and our breathing exercise. All right, let your shoulders settle. We'll begin to move into our side stretch now. So we'll take the blocks and set them up. You're familiar with class, so go ahead and set them up the way that you might think that you need to have them set up ahead of time. You might get into this shape and have a different story, right? So you might have one side that's a little bit higher, one side that's a little bit lower, right? So you just got to play around with those things. And if you have to readjust at any time, it's okay. So we'll start with the right hand down, finding the placement that's best for you with your hand. Placing the hand down, creating a fist, popping up to the fingertips. And this could be on the ground. This could be on a different surface than a block. Sometimes we need something softer. We could roll up a little towel underneath the wrist if there's great sensitivity. Similar thing to do would be underneath the feet if you're sensitive there. All right, so we'll place the right hand down, however it's best. We want to try to sit up tall and straight, engaging the core. If your knees went up with you, sit a little bit more forward on your support and tilt your pelvis a little more forward. Engage your core. Inhale, left arm up and overhead. Working upright first, trying to create space. Stretch between the ribs and your hips. If you can't straighten your arm, it's okay. Maybe you have the arm much closer to your body. No problem. Just try to lift up and over without really moving the shoulder too much. So we isolate the shoulder down, reaching up. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Get a little more open here. You could slide the block out. You could reach a little further over. Maybe not. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. And we'll slowly bring the left hand down. That can be a lot of blood to move around, especially if you're taking class early in the morning. And then we'll slowly set up for the other side. Take your time. Find what's going to work best for you here. Left hand down. Inhale, right arm reaches up. Sitting up tall, engaging your core, soft through the knees, grounding from the left hand to reach up from the right. Breathe in, exhale and stretch. Lifting from your chest, breathe in, exhale and stretch. And bring your right hand down. So when you're ready, just begin to move at your own pace. Inhale, left arm up and over. Can barely see my screen in front of me, but it looks like there's a beam of sunlight going right over top of me. So I hope that you can still see me. With your exhale, left hand grounds. Inhale, right arm reaches up and over. Exhale, right hand grounds. Use your breath. Inhale, we're expanding through the lungs, so we expand through the body. Exhale to ground. If you like to move your neck around here, go for it. Okay, one more time on each side, and then make your way back to your center. From your center, take a moment to roll your shoulders back a few times. Settle them down. All right, we'll set up for our twist. So, maybe today is the day you decide to avoid twist or take less of a twist or take a deeper twist, right? It's a choose your adventure kind of class. Take your left hand behind you. For me, that's on a bolster. I'm lifted up. For you, it could be the floor as long as you're not leaning back. You don't want to lean back. So you might have to take a block with you. Okay, this could be a pillow as well. Left hand behind you, right hand over to your left leg. Engage your core. Inhale to lift your chest. And on your exhale, twist and lead your twist with your left shoulder. Let that start where that twist is in your body. And then it moves down the torso into the hip, right? You might have a knee that lifts up when you draw the left shoulder back. It's okay. Just pop something underneath it to support it. Deep breath in. Exhale and twist. Core stays engaged. Breathe in. Exhale and twist. Come back to your center. Take a moment to unwind. Make sure everything feels okay. And then move on to the other side. Right hand behind you. Left hand, right leg. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale and twist. Lead with the right shoulder back. Draw in from your core. Lift up from your chest. Breathe in. Exhale and twist. Come back through to your center. Take a moment to pause. All right, so move at your own pace. Try to keep it on the slow side. Left hand behind you. Right hand, left leg. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale and twist. Inhale through your center. Prepare the hands for the other side. And then use the exhale for the twist. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Take one or two more on each side if you like. We'll meet back at our centers. Once you're back at your center, there's no rush. Roll your shoulders up and back. And then let them settle. All right, let's move into our leg stretches. So adjust yourself however you need to. For me, that means lowering down. And as always for you, that could mean something totally different, right? And it could be the first time that it's different today. So we'll start with the right leg out, left foot in towards the right thigh. Sit forward in your pelvis and then take a look at your right thigh. Make sure that you have an internal rotation of your thigh. So if your foot is kind of kicked out to the right like mine is, that's not an internal rotation. That's an external rotation. And some of us can really externally rotate. Some of us can really internally rotate, and it can be different on both sides because hip imbalances are really common, right? So you may need to manipulate the muscle. You're going to take the hands to the thigh, take the left hand to the inside of the left thigh, and just push that muscle downwards. You'll feel the one on the right side kind of wrap upwards, and then see if you can flex a little bit further, okay? Take some nerve glides, point and flex your right foot. Take some circles around your ankle. If this forces you to lose that internal rotation, then just fix it after you finish this little circle. And then flex your foot, internal rotation of the thigh. If you can, the left foot presses into the right thigh. Your left knee and foot might be much farther out from the body though, which is totally fine. So we'll have the hands on either side of the right leg. Sit up tall, twist your torso so you're aiming your chest towards the big toe and the one next to it. Inhale. And on your exhale, begin to hinge forward. So it's like you're hinging up, like you're trying to lift up out of your hips and then reach your upper body towards your toes. Not your chin though. Tuck your chin. We have a tendency to lead with our chin. So shoulders back, elbows in, kind of hugging into your sides, and then hinging forward. Lifting up from the chest. Press down and back from your hips. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Check in with your left shoulder. It might be up, it might be leaning to the right side. Just try to balance it out a little bit. And if you can, lower your head down. And slowly roll up through your spine. Let your head come up last. All right. That just gives a little flexion through the spine on the way back up. Right. It's not really anything you have to do. Left foot out, right foot in. Take a moment here. Situate your pelvis, internal rotation, then begin to flex and point your left foot. And then take circles around your ankle in one direction and then the other. And then flex your left foot, holding it there. Make sure you're sitting up tall. If you have a tendency to tilt back just a little bit or to just round into the spine a little bit, something as little as a little edge of a pillow that you can sit on can really help with shifting the pelvis. So we'll take the hands to either side of the left leg. Twist the torso, find that aiming point, lift from your chest, breathe in. Then on your exhale, begin to hinge. Chin is in, reaching up from the center of the top of your head, reaching forward with your chest. It's almost like think of the curve of your spine, and that's how you want to keep moving. Elbows in, shoulders back, shoulders level. Now on this side, it would maybe be the right shoulder that's up. Sometimes we feel like, oh, this is adding to the stretch to open up, but that's a different type of stretch. You want to keep everything kind of lined up here. Deep breath in. And on your exhale, fold a little deeper if you can. And lower your head down if you can. Slowly roll up. Head comes up last. All right leg out. Think about where your left leg is. Rock a little left and right. Internal rotation of both thighs now. A lot of times you can just rock and pick up the thigh and place it back down, and there you have your alignment. Sometimes we need more or less maneuvering, right? It's all good. So find a place where you can have a bolster out in front of you. We're still going to be in an active stretch, but we need something to hold on to. And that might mean that you need to bring even more things with you, not just a bolster. So we'll have the hands on the bolster. Maybe it's blocks, whatever it is. Inhale, lift up your chest. Almost like you're pressing down into the ground to lift up from the chest, right? Feel that engagement in your core. On your exhale, elbows rotate in, and we'll hinge forward. As your body says okay to this shape, maybe the arms go a little bit further. Maybe you're able to bring your hands down to the floor and your forehead down to your bolster. Maybe you need to have something for your forehead. So place a block there. Right? So anything you can do to increase flexibility. We're still engaged. I know we do a similar shape in restorative, but we're still flexing the feet here. Still shifting forward in the pelvis and working to lift up and lengthen the spine. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Engage your core. Inhale. Exhale and see if you can fold a little further. And then slowly roll up. Walk your hands back. Okay, we'll move into our hip opener. Slide the heels in as close towards the body as you can. You may have to stop way out here. It's no problem. As you are able, you bring the heels in closer. Your knees might be way up in the air, right? It's okay. You can back up and you can take the heels further away from the body, but they still could be up. So you may need to get things involved, supporting yourself so that those muscles can relax on the support and not fight the support so you can gain flexibility, right? So your body's not worried about getting injured if it has support. So find what works best for you. Press into those feet if you can. Hands around the ankles, maybe hands around the toes. Inhale to lift up your chest. And on your exhale, elbows in, lift the chest more and begin to hinge forward. So you can keep those elbows in towards your sides. Maybe you can visualize them pointing back, and that helps you bring your chest forward. You may be able to do that function in the torso, lifting and reaching forward, and at the same time have the elbows on the calves and press the calves down just a little bit. That's an inner thigh kind of assisted stretch. I'm sure you can feel it if you're trying it out. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. So check in with the pelvic floor here. It's very easy to lose that. Draw in the belly button. Inhale to lift your chest. Exhale to hinge forward. And if you like, lower your head down. Slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. All right, let's take both legs out in front. Be mindful of bringing your knees back together and extending the legs long. I like to lift myself up here after that big stretch, that hip opener. So you might need to just rock left and right instead. So we'll flex the feet, take the hands down to the floor. Remember, this could mean hands to the blocks, especially if that offers you a little more resistance. If that helps you engage your core more to have the floor closer to you by bringing the floor up, on the block, then that's what you should do. Flexing the feet, inhale, lift up your chest. Exhale, elbows in, shoulders back, hinging forward. So think of the tailbone going back, the length of your spine reaching up through the center of the top of your head. Deep breath in, slow breath out. Now think of the back of your legs. Press the thighs down. Press the tailbone back. You maybe gained some space just now, so wiggle it out. Flex from the feet. Inhale, exhale, and fold. And you can walk the arms out. Just keep the shoulders down, right? The moment we go into this extension, we've kind of lost the purpose of the stretch, right? Ultimately, do what you want to do, but this is what I'm doing. So when you're ready, lower your head down and slowly come up. All right, so let's do a twist, and then we will set up for our restorative shapes. So left leg's going to stay where it is. We'll draw the right foot up. All right, so you draw the right foot up as far as you can. This could be as far as it goes. If you can, slide the heel up a little bit further. If that's still feeling pretty accessible to you and you'd like to deepen the stretch on the outer side of the hip where the glute and the hips attach, cross the right foot over your left knee. Now, wherever you are with your foot, check in with your big right toe, and make sure it's pressing down. We flex the left foot. And we'll take the right hand behind us, maybe on a block. Inhale, left arm reaches up. On your exhale, reach forward like you're going to try to reach for those toes. Maybe you can even touch them. And then hook the elbow around your knee. We're leaning forward, right? So now we're going to lift up the chest and twist, leading with the right shoulder, just like we did in the twist earlier. The right shoulder draws us into our twist. Maybe the compression holding the elbow around the knee draws the knee up and helps the hip press down and gives us a bigger stretch. It's a huge muscle right there. Deep breath in, exhale and twist. Belly button in, slowly counter twist to your left. So shift back to your center, take your time, right leg out. Left foot slides up. Maybe it slides up farther. Maybe it crosses over the right knee. Whatever you do, you check in with that big toe, press it down. And maybe even halfway into it, you come back to thinking about your toe because a lot of times we lift up. So we flex the foot, left hand behind us. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, reach forward. Hook your elbow around your knee. Lift your chest and twist. So for some of us, we're using the strength from the bicep of the right arm, the forearm strength of the right arm to hug up around the knee. And it's almost this energetic movement where You take the forearm and kind of draw up, and then you feel that hip and IT band stretch, maybe down the left leg, maybe even your hamstring, right, is affected, because you can add to that stretch just by drawing up a little bit on that muscle and then pressing down from the hip. Deep breath in, slow breath out. Core stays engaged, and we'll counter twist to the right. And back to your center. All right, shake it out, whatever you like to do on your way to setting up for our restorative shapes. So we will start with our restorative chest opener, back bend. And I will add a bit of an incline today. I'm pretty sure where all of us live right now, the pollen's going a little crazy. So I know the second I lay down, I can start coughing. All right, so I'm going to go for an incline. That's going to help me breathe a little bit easier or avoid coughing, hopefully. And then it's also going to give me a more therapeutic way of being in my spine, especially for some lower back tenderness, right? So if it hurts to lay down, if laying down, feels like a big stretch and you're just not ready for that, give yourself an incline. It'll be a lot more gentle. All right, so I like to line my back up to the bolster, okay, and then recline. You may have a way that's better or safer for your body to get into the shape. Okay, so if you recline and you feel like this is still kind of painful on my lower back, try putting a little pillow or rolling up a little towel at your lower back where your bolster ends. Sometimes we need a little extra something there. Okay. All right. So legs can be out in front. Now it's okay to let go of this muscular movement. We don't care about an internal rotation anymore, right? So if the toes fall out, it's okay. Arms are down by your sides and the palms are up. Try to let the shoulders soften. If your arms and shoulders have a hard time relaxing here, put something underneath your arms. All right. Close your eyes. Tuck your chin, especially if you kind of have your chin lifted up. And just begin to move through your body, softening through the shoulders, front of your chest, down through your torso. Taking some time, maybe a lot of time, to check in with the hips, thighs, the heels, the toes. Making a conscious effort to just scan the body over and over until you forget about it, just to see how you can relax better. What parts of your body are reacting? Which parts of your body are the most reactive? Take a deep breath in. Slow breath out. Wiggle your fingers and take a moment to close your shoulders. Take your arms across your body if you can. Release the hands down, tuck your chin, and Slowly make your way up. And we'll shift this bolster out in front of us. Or if you just like to turn around instead, I get it. Do what's easiest for you. And we'll move into our forward fold. So you may have a different setup for your forward fold. You might like to have your legs a little separate. You might like to have your legs together. I'm going to have the legs together with the bolster over top and drape my torso over it. And then that means I need to have something to catch my head. So I'm going to position this block to touch my forehead. My shoulders are relaxed because they're resting on the bolster. What you want to look out for here is any pain on the underside of the knees, right? We don't want any direct pressure from the bolsters pressing down on the top of the knee. This will affect the back of the knee over time and not positively. So you could roll up, a little towel, or you could put a little blanket there or something just to, support that little soft space on the back of your knees, okay? There's no stopping point on the back of the knees. It's an interesting design, okay? So find what works best for you. Let your head be supported in this shape. It is okay to round your spine, so don't worry about lengthening. Lengthening is good, and then rounding into it, right? And then letting go of that muscular engagement. So here we need to really focus in on the lower back, the hips, the glutes, maybe the shoulders. Sometimes we flex our feet here. We don't realize that we're doing it, or pointing. Right? Could go either way. And slowly begin to bring yourself up. Take your time. Let your head come up last. All right, so we'll do a supported pigeon today. If that gives you some anxiety, feel free to just do our supported supine stretch where we're laying down with the bolster to the side and the leg goes across the body. Or you could do our side stretch with the legs to the side and your upper body goes with you, that we normally do as well. All right. So pigeon restorative is just something I've been implementing in this new season of our restorative. So let me know how it goes for you, if it's accessible to you or if it's not, right? I don't want to teach you guys anything that's just not available to anyone, okay? So you want to have a bolster up close. You may want to have blocks, pillow nearby. And we'll start with the left leg out, okay? Now, the way my left leg is right now is pretty much, for the most part, how it's going to stay when I move my hip back. You might have your heel in much closer to your body, and that could be much safer for your knee, okay? And then from here, just eye roll to the left side and swing the right leg out. Now, some of us might like to keep the right knee like this and then bring the bolster towards us. Stack upper body down, right? And then we're getting a nice compression, restorative stretch down in the left hip. And then we're getting a different type of stretch down the right side. Okay. You might want a little bit different stretch, right? We all have different things going on. So maybe you're familiar with this, right? And it's overkill, but still important because I rarely teach this. So if you want your hips to be squared, right now, this is not squared hips. You would roll over your hips. Now there's going to be direct pressure on your knee there for a moment. If that's too much, have a pillow there ready for you. And now we can take the bolster, draw it up towards the left knee. I just set it up with how my left knee is situated. Upper body down, head down. And make sure that I'm supported enough that I'm not actively using the muscles, right? So you don't want to engage the glutes, the core. You don't really want to focus on pointing or flexing. It'll be in a natural pointed state, but try not to be actively pointing the toes back, if you're in the similar shape as me. And you may need to add, you may need more support around the curve of your spine and then bring the body down, right? So there's always options. Closing your eyes if you can. Big breath in. Slow breath out. And if you've been looking to one side, try to move your neck to the other side just for a few moments. Bring your head back to your center. Slowly draw the arms back towards your body. Push yourself up and also roll to your left hip. Okay, so we'll set up for the other side. So you might just bring your right leg around and do the same thing on that side. You might move your bolster. I'm going to move the bolster. And then now we're going to have the right knee down. Now remember, the left knee can be down here. And there's no exclusion to support, right? You can add pillows anywhere that it benefits you. I could teach a yoga class, a restorative yoga class of easily 20 different supports. But then it would take an hour to get ready for class for everyone. All right, so when you're ready, you find the shape that works best for you. Upper body comes down. You decide one shape's not great, maybe another one is. And shifting your neck if you're able. When you're ready, begin to push yourself up. Roll to your right hip. Swing your legs out in front gently. And we'll set up for our Shavasana. I'm going to add a chest opener into our Shavasana today. So I'll be using the bolster underneath my legs. And I will have a block set up. Let's see how I want to do this. A block set up for the top of the head, and this won't be for everyone, right? This will be too intense for some of us. So we may need to improvise blocks with a small towel or a small pillow. A lumbar pillow, one of those skinny long ones, works really well here. So think of the length of your spine. Okay, that's where one support's going to go. And remember, this can be a blanket. This doesn't have to be a big, huge block. And if it's a block, it can be even a smaller height. And then think about something for the back of your head. Okay, this could be a pillow if you have a towel here instead of a block. And then we'll recline. And it's totally possible that you're going to have to situate yourself multiple times, especially if you are not used to doing this. If you have spinal issues and you shouldn't really be putting pressure points up in the neck area, then avoid using blocks, use pillows instead. Okay, we'll recline. I like to line up a block about right above the hips. So like think about where your hip bones are and just go maybe about an inch. And that's where I would start a block. For me and my torso, I have a long torso. God allows me to have like the natural curve in my spine to bring the hips down. You may have a different experience. Okay, so something underneath the back of your head to support you. Where my blocks are, they are perfectly, somehow I situated them perfect, so I'm not going to shift them. But what is happening is that the top of this block that my spine is on is at the bottom tips of my shoulder blades, which are about here. And that's going to press my shoulders down and back and let my shoulders hang. And we want the shoulders to hang unless that creates pain or feels injurious in your body. And then arms out with the palms up. But you want the shoulders to go back to help stretch the front line of the body. So I have support under the knees. That also helps take some strain off the hamstrings and lower back. You may need more, you may need less, you may need to not do this at all. Okay. If you are able to experience it, try to really focus in on the spine and see if you can get those vertebrae to relax in places they are not used to having pressured support. So this shape will lead us into our final Shavasana. We'll spend about a minute here and then I'll ask you to very slowly come off of your supports under your spine and lay flat instead if you can. So begin to slowly bring the palms down to close the shoulders first. And then make your way up to enough height so you can shift those things out from underneath you. Lay back down. Feel the spine and how different that might be. Tuck the shoulder blade with your chest. Stay here as long as you like. If you're ready to move towards your seat, look at your fingers and toes. Maybe take some circles around those joints, the ankles and the wrists. Stretch whatever you need on your way up to your seat. From your seat, maybe you're still laying down. Take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. If it's a part of your practice, palms together, center of your chest. Take a moment to notice how you feel. Just observe the shift that happens in your breath, your body, your thoughts when you take some time to actively slow down, and just to slow down on purpose, to breathe on purpose. Thank you so much for joining me, and you call this yoga. Namaste. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Please share this class with your friends and let them know that this class does help you, right? We're looking for feedback as well. So check out our social media and see what kind of new things we have going on there. All right. Thank you so much for coming. See you soon. Bye.